think that's why I like it. That's why I like that this particular distance I'm finding is it's a puzzle. So if you like puzzles, if you like
Oh,
challenges, like
yeah. Yeah.
it's not for most people. For the realm of people, they're just amazing. They're fast and they can take a beating and they're just that's a different animal. But I think
Right.
there's another group. It's a puzzle, and you have to master yourself or know yourself, which is good, which works outside of the sport,
Right.
right? But how much sleep do you need? How much do you eat? Do you get cold when you sleep? Um, do you work well with people? Like, can you have people around you when you're stressed and tired? And I sometimes I talk halfway joking to athletes. It's like, how are you when you're drunk? Are you a mean drunk? Like, I've had
That's true. That's a great
guy friends,
statement.
like, or even girlfriends, where if say I had a friend who was a girl and her boyfriend she was starting to see, when he got drunk, he was extremely aggressive or loud. That could be a tell. So I
Yeah.
use that for running. Like, if you tend to get super irritable and you lash out to your crew, all right, you can't get tired. Like,
Right.
you can't get tired. You need to sleep early and often before you become a problem. And before you start making bad decisions or pissing off your crew, or you have to know that's part of you and accept it. But just like if it can't go out on trails at night and you have to have pacers, then you need pacers. But just like learn yourself, and then the puzzle is applying some system or solution.
Welcome back, everybody, to Running Strong Mind Body Connection podcast. I'm your mental fitness and peak performance coach and the founder of the Mental Fitness Edge, and obviously your host. So, my guest today is the real deal, and that in every sense of the word. Ron Hammett is an experienced ultra runner and a coach with over 2 decades in trail and endurance racing. He's completed over 100 ultra marathons, more than 40 of those at 100 miles or beyond, with over 25 podium finishes and multiple overall wins. His resume includes the Cocodona 250. We'll talk about that. The Hard Rock 100, Western States 100 twice, Angels Crest 100, and a first place finish at Zion. He once ran 3 sub-24-hour 100-mile races in just 6 weeks, and 2 of them back-to-back weekends. That's phenomenal. And beyond his own racing, Ron has spent over 7 years coaching athletes worldwide through Sundog Running, and that's where I met him from. And why we run, about comparisons, about staying connected to what makes this sport meaningful. And I think it's one of the most important conversations we're going to have. So, Ron, welcome to Running Strong Mind Body Connection.
Thank you. It's
You're welcome to the
great to talk
podcast.
to you.
Oh, it's going to be fun. So, I was really exciting. I did my first, I hired Emily Harris, Torrance to coach me, and I didn't realize the gift I was going to get was to be on Ron's Zoom calls to learn about the Cocodona 250. And I want to say that I learned so much, but I didn't finish. That there's still more to learn, right? And so you can only learn so much on a Zoom call. So, Ron, my first question for you, before we get into the big questions, give me the origin story. 2 decades, over 100 ultras. What pulled you into the sport in the first place, and what keeps you here this long?
It started, I think it was a bucket when I loved hiking growing up. My mom got me hiking when I was like 8 or 9. So I
Wow.
grew up in the Las Vegas Valley. So we would hike all the time, and she was big into fitness. And then later on in my 20s, like late 20s and 30s, a bucket item came up. Like, I have to do a marathon one day. I did not like running. I really despised running, to be honest with you. The bucket, like the marathon was like, I'll do a marathon, the bucket, because you have to do a marathon before you die. I don't know why it came up.
Right.
That's
You
probably the
got to
most
have
sore I've
that
ever
kick.
been. It was like I had to do it. I got injured. I remember doing the first 2 miles, the longest I ever ran, and being so sore and soaking in my tub. It was just the first 10 miles I've ever run. I remember being, how do you go
Right.
further than this? It was just
Right.
crazy. So I did one, and I did a couple of other ones. These are not these are horribly timed, or it's very slow, but I was happy. And then somehow I found out that there are running events in the mountains and in the woods. And I was like, where has this been? I was like, instantly, I need to do one of these ultras or trail runs. Had no idea that they were even out there. I think I found one in my first one that I officially DNF'd or officially finished was in Moab, Utah. It was a 50 miler. Again, had zero experience. Loved the area. If you've ever been to Moab, it's just amazing. Got to mile 40 and they timed me out at the aid station, which it was new to me that you get timed out. And I said, hey, can I still finish? He's like, go ahead. I'll have some water up there for you. And when I finished, I got to the finish line in the dark, and there was one person putting the last chair in the truck, and they forgot I was out there. I think he gave me
Oh,
a beer, and I
oh,
went back to my little motel and just felt that sickness you feel sometimes after ultras, that flu-like, just for the whole night. I never ended up even on he didn't finish list on ultra sign up or on their race. So there's no record of it, but it was a finish, but like well past the thing. But after that, I was hooked. It was like in the woods, you challenge yourself. It was fun. It was strangely fun. And from there, I was just like, oh, I want to do that again. And oh, there's 100 milers. That scared the crap out of me. So that instantly grew me, oh, I got to do it. And then that's how this slowly evolved into race after race after race. Adventure, it should say more adventure. I like nowadays I like phrasing them as adventures. They're a little more fun that way. Some are races, but
mhm.
some are just adventures. But I think I did my first marathon in 2004. And my first 100 was in, I'm trying to do my math, how old I was, 2010. And then from there
Oh,
on,
wow.
just sort of,
I did my first, and I remember that first. My girlfriend and I decided, well, shouldn't we run a marathon? We had the
oh,
CIM
you just
here.
jumped up straight up.
We just moved right to it. Well, I was a bike rider though. I was a long distance cyclist. I
Hmm.
had that endurance, but running is nothing like riding a bike. Absolutely nothing. And I went out, I was like, okay, I'm going to do my first mile to, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? That was the worst thing in my whole life. How stupid is this? But and then I said, okay, you got to do this till you love it. But just in your story, what you were saying, and just your beginning of that was you already had the taste of the hills and the hiking. And you can
Uh,
hear that, you can see that. That's your sweet spot, and that's where you belong. And
yeah, I
I
was comfortable.
battled. Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was comfortable being out in the woods by myself. So, which is in some of the races is a advantage.
Right.
So being alone for periods of time in the woods overnight, moving around, and
Wow.
being fairly comfortable with it, and actually sought it out for various reasons. But I think that was that draw. Like when I coach athletes and they're picking a race, I try to steer them to a race that they're excited about or they've never
Sure.
gone to before. Like not because my friend has done it or they saw it on Instagram and that is a motivator for some people, but I want them to be half scared, half excited. So when they have to get up at 5 in the morning and do a workout, it will draw, they'll be able to get up and not like, it's nothing like trying to get ready for a race you're not excited about. It's almost impossible to train for.
Right. If you don't have the headset for it, if you don't have the mental desire to do it, it's defeat right in itself.
Totally. That's funny. My wife's sister did a classic, like, oh, you run 100 milers? I've never driven that far or whatever,
Right, the classic
cliches.
comments.
I said, do you want to? She's like, no, I would never want to do that. I'm like, oh, it's not the sport for you. Yeah, this is why you couldn't imagine yourself doing it because it doesn't draw you. You're not
Right.
drawn to draw you. No, not at all. Oh, okay. Well, you're drawn to something else, I'm sure. So you have to like, that's why like hard rock, when I did hard rock, I was scared it took me 8 years to get in. I was scared for 6 of them, almost hoping like, don't get in, don't get in. Because it scared the crap out of me, but excited me. It drew me to the mountains. Like I loved seeing the images and the videos of that race. You have to have that calling. And if you don't have the calling, like you said, then why would you do it?
But I discovered you could go to Hard Rock and cruise somebody and still have just as much fun. I would never do Hard Rock. That just scares the heck out of me. I think the stories that I hear from it and whatnot, and my fear of heights is like, no,
Oh yeah.
I don't think I need to do that. But I'll be there because it's such a beautiful area.
Oh, it's amazing. It's one of the two races that exceeded its expectations.
Nice. How many times did you do Hard Rock? How many times did you finish
Just
it?
once.
Okay.
Yeah. Just so
You did. So also have done back-to-back hundreds, but I picked easy ones. Do- I'm laughing because I use the word easy, and people listening may not know what easy hundred. So Javelina, I knew it really well. I ran it so many times at this point, and at that time, I ran it 8 times, and so then I'd come home and I knew these routes here in Auburn. So there's the Rio del Lago. So
excuse
I've
me,
done those.
you ran it 8 times?
No, no, I've ran it 15 times now. At that point, it was only 8 times.
Okay.
This year will be my 16th, means I need to go to 20, but that's another story. But and this time when we started that, we were still living in Auburn. We have two houses here in Auburn and Flagstaff. And so it was easy to come home. And the first time I did it, it's like I had no idea how to do that. So I just did a full on active recovery. I know how to run hundreds, when I got out to start Rio del Lago, I couldn't believe how great I felt. I think I did that year faster than I did Rio del Lago, which is a little bit harder than Javelina. I think I did it faster than Javelina that year.
Was that your back to back? That was mine too. How funny.
And that's what I've done that 5 times.
Oh,
I have this thing about five. One is fine, but you got to do it. Try it again. Let's see if we can do it. So I have 5 finishes with that.
that's great.
But then now I add after Javelina, I have a week off and I do the Route 66 140 now. So now I'm doing that. It's harder to come back here than go back there, back and forth. So, but I guess that's an excuse. So your
Yeah.
back to backs was Javelina and Rio del Lago?
It seemed because it was the weekend after. I think the previous one was Kodiak, and somewhere in there was Stagecoach 100.
Okay.
But the back to back was Javelina. And I did Rio de Lago slightly faster than Javelina. But the whole mindset was when this 200 plus mile race thing came on you know,
Radar.
I thought I was like, oh, it's just gonna be a fad. But then it grew. Then I saw, I think Cocodona came out with their race. And again, pictures capture me when I saw Arizona desert, which I love. You're going through all the topology and all the regions. I was like, oh, I knew there was a part of my brain saying, you're going to do it. You've been resisting the 200s for so long, but this is calling to you. So the back to backs were like, just dip our feet in literally to see how your body will react to multiple punishment. And then can you pull back? Can you tactically take less damage as you go? Like, there's a strategy to it, just like you would apply to a 200, 250. Plus, I had no idea. I've never done that many in a row before. So it's just one of those things where let's give it a shot. And if you can do that, maybe you can try the 250. No idea.
I never considered 200s. I never considered that so it's been a couple years now. I don't know what sparked me, but the 250 and the Cocodona, plus you hear about it so much, and I know all those people, and it's there in Flagstaff. And I think the two had ran the 125, and then I ended up pacing a girl at the 125. She was at the beginning of my podcast. This girl had only ran a 50K, and she decided to do the Sedona 125.
It's
And
amazing.
and I met her and ended up pacing her. There's a long story with that. It's a hilarious story. But just that mindset of jumping from that to that. And so then I had the taste of that. And so I started to do the training. I think I signed up for Cocodona 2 years ago, and I got in like in February. So I had like this short window, no crew, and I had no idea. There's a whole different world going from 100 to 250. at least in my mindset, I can run 100 miles, but I remember one thing you said is like, do not take this as a 100 mile. You've got to get a 250-mile mindset. It's a lot more relaxed, it's a lot more methodical, it's a lot more, but everybody, the crew and everybody has to be on that same page too. But so it was this year I was in tears at the start. Right after we started, I was just crying. I have no idea why I was crying. I was crying at Kippa.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I have no idea. I was just so Kippa was my like that point where I wanted to get to. It was just it just was, and then after that everything went downhill. So you've been at every Cocodona. Have you ran every year? No? Okay. When was your first Cocodona?
Was 2 years ago. And I
Okay.
did, so I signed up for Cocodona. I think I got injured and couldn't get in. And then I think I got in the second, or not the second year, but the next year. And that's when they opened the 125. And
Okay.
again, I love Sedona. We thought about moving there idea. And I was like, wait, if I do the 125, I can see the whole Sedona Valley through the day. I'm like, and plus it was the first year they're going to do it. I just met at that time, just it was better for my training. It was a good timing. And that's the race when I got done with it. I finished, I'm like, oh, damn it. I knew I was going to do Cocodona. Like I was
Oh,
resisting
wow.
Cocodona for so long. Like, I don't want to do it because maybe it's just outside my wheelhouse. It's just weird. But then when I did the 125, I'm like, this is so beautiful out there. It's a special race for some reason. I still haven't been able to articulate the vibe, the feeling, the something out there that almost like a cultish following, but a cultish following where people are drawn to it. Even non-runners are drawn to it, watching it all week, which is crazy. I still want to understand why my wife's sister, she found out when I finally got into Cocodona and did it. She called my wife and she said, hey, Ron's out there running Cocodona. She said, oh, so her and her husband just looked it up. And then for the rest of the week, they were glued to it because of the drama or whatever draws people in, they were hooked and they're totally not runners. So it's an interesting phenomena. But I did the 125, and then I think the next year, the year after that, I did the 250 where they had the Eldon climb. The last year they had the proper Eldon finish.
Proper. I like that word.
Proper. I do. I wish that I like that being there.
So it's curious because when I met you and when you were talking, you're a journey runner, I'll call it. You're solo. You have no crew or pacers with you. And to me, that takes a totally different mindset. But then you qualified that with your own early years hiking and sleeping in the woods and that alone time. So it's something that really is not I don't say ingrained, but precious to you in a way.
It, so there's a couple of things. The joke is like I would need to get enough friends together to go out and crew me. But especially during the week, like, hey, can you not go to work and not make money?
Right.
I can't pay anything. Don't get me wrong, I'm not paying for your flight or your rooms. Just come out and just like enjoy it. But there is I do like, even though you're never alone out there, there's moments, there's
Right.
hours at that time. I do like the solitary journey a little bit, even though like when I did Cocodona, my wife and daughter flew out Thursday night, they brought me Wendy's and they saw me at one of the aid stations, and then I saw them at the finish later on. Which is amazing to see them. But it should, I think, in my personal opinion, for me, it should be a journey, should be somewhat, hopefully, transformative. Like something should come from this. And again, for me, some runners I've worked with, they're like, I can't run by myself at night, at 100-mile races or whatever. Like, okay, you need a crew, you need pacers. Like, this is your thing, no big deal. Just this is part of your kit. This is part of your gear that you'll need is to bring people. For me, some of that people being out there there's an overhead. Plus, I don't want to. It's funny as even if my wife was out there, if I'm late to an aid station, I would feel bad. Like, oh my God, she's been waiting there. I would feel bad that she's waiting even though she wouldn't feel that way. Um, just getting rid of that overhead of like, okay, it's just me out here. I'm not going to disappoint anybody. I'm not going to burden anybody. I've told friends, like, if you want to jump in, like, don't tell me. Just pop in an aid station, like, hey, I'm here to run or hike. Let's do it. That'd be amazing. But there's an overhead to it, which for me, I don't like. Some people, they need that team around them every aid station. That said, if I had a proper crew, you would do. I think you can shave off 10 hours.
Easily. There's a lot of time when you go because you have to go in and do your own drop bag. You have to figure out what you're going to eat. You have to do, you're doing everything
Just have a
yourself.
little pacer to like motivate you, and oh, that'd be amazing.
So what I wanted to go back on what you said there. What was your transformation? What happened inside you? What did that feel like?
That's funny. So again, this is me, and I try to instill not this quality in other people. When I would get done with races, I would like say you finish a 100 miler and I'd be, okay, done. All right, next. Zero celebration, zero. Wouldn't acknowledge that. Hey, that was 100 miles. That was a 50 miler. Like you should acknowledge it. And I have a buddy who sent me a little note and had a belt, leather belt with no buckle on it. He goes, celebrate all finishes. Because he noticed it, my wife noticed it. So she's made like, we're going to dinner, we're going to celebrate it. And I'm getting, now understand that, oh, you can celebrate it. You can acknowledge you did something and it's okay to go, oh, that was awesome. It's just weird. I just had that never like, it's, that's great. But anyway, keep it down and just go to the next one. So my buddy who sent the belt, it's meant for the belt buckles you get at 100 milers. And
Right.
his condition is you wear the last 100 miler you've run to the race you're doing now. And if you finish, you get a buckle, you exchange them. You wear it home. You're supposed to wear it like if you have a job, like wear it to the job the next day. Like you can do one day of like, look at me, and then I'll put it behind a door somewhere, hide it somewhere. And my wife has like, no, we're celebrating. So I'm getting better. And now I've used that with my athletes. Like, this is amazing. Like, these are hard things, and you
Right.
should celebrate them. And you at least acknowledge them and don't expect people at work to throw parties for you. Sometimes they don't know. It's just weird. So like, you might need to celebrate yourself, but you need to acknowledge it was a very difficult, hard thing, and you spent a lot of time getting there. If you have other people around you to help you do that, great. But if you don't, you can still take yourself to dinner, buy yourself a present, do something. But it's taken me years to understand that, to put that in practice.
And I want to say a lot of people are that way because nobody wants to toot their own horn. And I know in some way I've done that just in my own coaching business of I don't really talk about what I do because I have the idea that I might intimidate somebody, but that's not true. That's not the truth. People are really drawn and inspired by the stories I have. I was on a call earlier and I was introducing myself and the mentor is like, "Well, what else, Karen?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm an ultra runner." I forgot that part. So I'm bringing that back into the world because you have a gift. Yeah, I have a gift of being able to do these amazing things. I call it amazing people doing amazing things that inspire the world. And we inadvertently inspire other people to listen to our stories, to watch us, to be. And I do get the comments, well, I wouldn't drive that far, but I get the comments that one lady made a comment today, well, don't even think I walked 100 miles. I'm like, you'd be amazed if people just wrote down how many steps they took through in a day. You calculate that into miles. Most people, 10,000 steps is going to be at least 5 miles.
Mhm.
And you total it up, and we're just amazed of how much you go walk around your block every day. My neighbor does a mile every day, so that's 365 miles a year. And tell me, she's 100 years old.
Really? Oh, wow.
So and it's not flat here. So, so it's I have a crew, but the 250, what was your transformation? Because going through 100 is, you get used to that. It's just, it is 100's 100 if you've done so many of them. But even our first 100 was, I was quitting at 84 and I would never do another 100 again. I didn't, I want my bike. I can't, this is awful. It was Rio del Lago was my first 100. And, but then it's like, the two and I met, and then here I am doing javelina with him, and he dropped. I finished my second 100, and then it just keeps compiling. And someone says, "Hey Karen, hey Karen, hey Karen." So the first time I got into Western States, "Hey Karen, have you heard of the Grand Slam? Hey Karen, have you heard of this?" It's like, okay, let's try
But yeah.
that. So you're 250. So what was that? You're by yourself through that whole thing. And I know what it was with another person, but still, I have my crew out there and I have pacers out there. But what is it like when you're going through your ups and downs? More so the downs, and how do you get out of that by yourself? And what is it, your process, and what do you learn about yourself in this?
I think that's the thing. Like, I would love to be the person who like finishes the race and gets all emotional and like and truly understands what they did. I don't have that in me, which is probably not a good thing. But the transformation is you get really comfortable being uncomfortable, like that classic saying,
Yeah.
or you start gaining confidence in even other realms of your life. Like if you can do things that really scared you didn't think you can do, and you can take these little steps. You fall, and you falter, but you keep on going, and then you finally hit it. You're like, oh. The weird story I have is my daughter when she was really young. I think it was during COVID times, and we're still going to school though. And we're going home. I would give her a Rubik's cube because I was like, let's learn a skill because I don't know how to do a Rubik's cube. So I had to learn it. It's just memorization. And then I had her start learning. It's just steps and algorithms. Like just it's memorization. But
Right.
when she finally we're driving home and I just remember her hand coming up with the finished Rubik's cube after weeks and weeks and weeks of her doing it. And I'm like, and I can tell that she felt she did it. But then we
Hmm.
started doing homework together. We started doing whatever. Now she's doing piano now. She still remembers like, oh, I remember I couldn't do that. And I did. I practiced every little bit every day, and I finally did it. So now when she goes into a harder math class or a piano lesson, whatever, it's not like I can't do this. It's like, oh, I remember this. I have it, so I can. It's not unobtainable. It's hard, but it's steps to that goal.
Right.
So that's what I've learned is like, oh, even things super hard in your life that's outside of running, they're obtainable. They're not. It's in your wheelhouse to be able to do them. I think especially with younger people, that's a hard thing to learn. And I think sports do it. And there's other good parenting probably does it, but like running, ultra running, or trail running, I think that allows people to have that transformation. Is like, oh, I can do things. I can apply this determination to something
Yeah.
else.
Right. I was curious. I'm still curious, and I hope I get in next year. I'm
I think
10th woman. I'm 10th
oh yeah,
woman in the wait list, and
you're
I'm
totally.
really
There's no
hoping
doubt. You're totally in.
yeah, and I'll train for it. I'll train hard for it.
But a side question later on would be when you're not in the race, is it harder to train? Officially in the race, like you're not
No,
officially in the race.
I'm going because I watched George Lund, I believe his name is, and I met a guy who got in the day before. George got in 3 days before, and I ran with George on the training run from I ran with him. No, I did. It was with the training run. I ran with him on the day after the Crown King Scramble. We
Hmm.
ran from Crown King to almost Prescott, past Camp W. I ran with him on that. And so I saw what he was doing and I saw what a powerful, but he was training, he was in the 125, but he was training for the 250.
Okay.
So watching that, I think inspired me to do the same thing. Because
Okay.
when we come back, we'll come back. Well, I'm doing stagecoach. I have Javelina and then the Route 66, but it's training on those. I'd have to because training on in Arizona trails is important. for me because it's frickin' rocky. So that's one thing it keeps coming to my mind, my remembrance is the week before I did Cocodona, I went on a retreat type thing and we did a high rope, and I am 100% scared of heights, and I embraced it, and I can do hard things, but you're all tied up and everything. And I did fall, and I had this maneuver, and I'm on these little ropes, and I found myself, because you go one level, next level, you're going up levels every time, and you have different things you're doing. It was just insane. By the time I got to the last one, I just like walked through it. So, but I'm wondering if that messed up my back, and that's why I have to lean.
Oh, oh,
I'm
wow.
wondering because I was falling on that, the tense up, but you're caught. You're not falling to the ground, but
No.
still, it's still, I didn't even think about that, so I'm not going to do that then next year. I thought getting away from the mindset of Cocodona 250 was good. Well, mentally it was a good thing because I
Yeah.
took your advice of being prepared, have everything prepared. I had everything bought, I had everything set, I had everything bagged up, I had it all organized, and then just a few things for the last week, but that was pretty darn amazing. Um, oh, I forgot my next question, but I think that it's something to celebrate. It's something that we're just amazing people doing amazing stuff. And I think I'm going to experience this, but I think being a solo runner is powerful in its essence. And I've heard people do that, and it's for the same reason. I don't want to worry about my crew. I don't worry about anybody else. If you choose to be out here, great. I actually I have 6 people who want to crew me next year. I already had that before the lottery.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm like, okay. But to me, that's a huge confidence mindset, a
Oh,
huge trusting of yourself and knowing where you're at, and you really mentally have it all together because 250 miles is a few days. And so through that journey, how much sleep did you get, and how did you organize your sleep? You talked about that on the our Zoom meetings, but what happened? Oh, this year we both didn't finish.
nailed that. Brown, Brown King. And again, I went into an injured night, and I'm still going through why I went there slightly injured, just financially. That's a hit. You go out there, and I think I forgot one of my friends. I think I told you they go, oh, so you stopped at mile 40. So how many? What does that equate to? How much money? How much money per mile did you spend? Like, oh, and I did the math. I'm like, okay, that just depressed me. It was horrible. So don't go to these huge events like not 99% or 100%. I thought, oh, I could go in it. I was just excited to be there, and then it caught up. So, oh, sleep. So sleep again. This is such a personal. Again, that's why I love these longer races because they're not 100 milers. They're not. You can treat them as whatever you want, right? They could be amazing races like Rachel and all the top runners. They're amazing. Or it could be a personal adventure and a challenge internally, right? Which I love. That's why I love people. That's what I will constantly get people to do trail running or push their limits.
Right,
One reason I get enjoyment out of it. But I love seeing them when they're surprised that they did, just like my daughter with a cube. It's like, oh my God,
right.
I didn't know I could do that. And that usually once they do that, they're either, okay, I'm done, or they're just hooked and they're gone. So if Cocodona is like that adventure idea, I've seen couples, there's an older couple doing it, and they go, this is our third time. We just hike the whole thing. We stay in a hotel room in Sedona. This is fun. But they knew they're probably masters at their feet, their gut, like masters at maintaining themselves throughout the whole journey. I took that into the race when I did it, knowing I was solo, knowing that I had no experience at that distance, not knowing how much sleep you need, like that I personally needed per day. I did find out I don't need that much sleep per day. I knew I was going to sleep every day. So my mantra is like, I'm going to sleep every day I'm gonna eat something, I'm gonna go to bed, wake up and repeat. And that worked perfectly. I slept about every 24 hours for anywhere from like, on average, like 2 hours. Let's say 2.5 hours, maybe two. And that was enough for that 5 day, 4 day period. But I didn't hallucinate. Again, I think if you're solo, there's like you can't start mass hallucinating out there and becoming a danger to yourself and the liability to the race. So there's responsibility in there. So more sleep, less hallucinations. So doing that, it made it fun. So when I said there's two races where they exceeded my expectations, the second one was Cocodona. When I finished, I'm like, that was awesome. Like right when I stepped on the finish line, like, that was amazing. It wasn't like 5 days later, you get to that point like, oh my God, all the pain and it's fine. It was like, that was amazing. I really want to do it again. But it was because I slept up. I think because I treated it like we're going to hike every day and we're going to sleep every day. And I got like 3 or 4 massages during the whole event. And it had its really bad parts, but they weren't as low as they could have been. The high points were okay, but it flowed fairly well. So that's why I think in those Zoom meetings, I tell people there's a path. There's a path for you through these races. And I think it's your job to find that path. It's not friend's path or the person on Instagram or whatever. You need to find your path based on how much time you have, your fitness, your job, your family, all these things. I think that path is there for most people. I think the fun part, I think the challenging part is to find it and play to your strengths and try to whittle away your weaknesses training up to the event. But I think that's why I like that race, because it gives you enough time for most people that you could literally never run the whole event and just keep on walking and sleep every night. It sounds easy until the second day and it's a problem. But that's the fun of it, I think. The challenge, that logistical challenge of maintaining yourself day to day to day. That's what draws me in. And that's why, like you're saying, like solo running, it is a slightly higher challenge on that, but you tend to focus on it more. I think I've seen some people with pacers and crew, they offload their thinking to other people, and those people they're not doing it for them. So things have gone wrong. But when you're by yourself, you have to really know that you're the only one out there to take care of yourself. So it keeps you a little more sharp during the event.
That's
Um,
that's fascinating. Hello, I have a lot going on in my head right now listening to you. Listen to I have two other podcasts that were before you. One was Paul James, the oldest guy. And it was funny because he and I
that's my
were,
goal. That's my goal.
that's
I'm
my
gonna be
goal
that.
to be the
Oh,
old, well,
really?
actually, I'm
The
older than
race is
him.
on.
He says, I looked you up. I said, well, I looked you up and I want to see the oldest person, how old this person was going to be. But then we discovered our birthdays and I'm older than him. But anyway, then his crew was like dialed in on him. And then I'm listening to you and the solo and not having the crew, and it forces you to be more sharp and taking care of yourself, a little more diligent about taking care of yourself so you don't become a danger one to yourself and other people or the race or whatever. And so I learned too is my crew wasn't really dialed in. They're dialed in for a 100-mile run. They weren't dialed in for a 250-mile run and really read their runner. And so there's a lot of things that when I've talked to them about that too, it's like there's a lot of things that happened along the way. And then I know that my mindset was I didn't want to sleep at Kippa. I didn't want to go into one of those cabins. I just didn't
Me
want to
either.
do that. And
Yeah, that's the
so
plan until you do.
and so there's stubbornness there, but I actually felt pretty good after we made that other stupid climb. I felt pretty good getting there, and I ate really well there. And then I got to Camp Wamatachik, and I didn't stick around for them to finish the hamburger. So now I'm lacking calories. And so when I get to Prescott and get to my crew, I didn't sleep enough. They woke me up at 45 minutes and I actually said, no, I don't want to get up, but they made me get up. And that was the problem of running with another person. Well, what happened to me was that when we got to Fane Ranch, now it's dark. I'm going into the night and I didn't have enough to eat at all, but I was more worried about having all the gear. They were really making sure we had all the gear and checking us. And I could not keep my eyes open going up that climb to Mingus. I was with, I had my pacer, another two other guys. One other guy asked to join us because he didn't want to be by himself because he was sleepy. Everybody was sleepy, but I was sleeping.
Oh, you're actually sleeping walking.
I was closing my eyes and they're like, "Are you awake?" And they're keeping me on the trail. Like, can I just sit down and sleep? You guys can go. But it was hard. That was really hard. And then when the sun came up the next day and I got to Mingus, I didn't sleep very much. I slept maybe an hour. And
Okay, so
that's
you
all
didn't
I
sleep.
got.
Yeah.
That wasn't good. And that impacted everything. It just impacted everything. And so I think I have to get out of the mindset I have to get to my crew to sleep.
Hmm.
And next time I have another philosophy is laying down in the floor of Camp Kippa. Inside the building is nice and warm. I can lay on the floor. I think they had mats there and close my eyes and stretch along the way. Keep your
You talked
body
about that.
limber.
You talked about that during the Zoom call, and I was doing heat training, doing some hot yoga before Cocodona. And I had that in my head. I'm like, I'm going to stretch. I'm going to take these three moves during this thing. And this is what I do at aid stations, or either before I wake up, or before I go to sleep, or when I wake up. Like, just these stretches or these mobility drills are super functional for me. So I was going to try to implement them on the way. I said something that triggered my brain. And when I went to the yoga, I'm like, that's a good idea. I was going to use that technique. I think it's a good idea.
I didn't even think because I never done it on a run. So it
I
wasn't a
know.
habit that I created. I've never done that. And then every place I sat, I was freezing cold. So I was never put in a spot that would keep me warm. And that was their mindset of you're getting out of here. Oh, we know you want to get out of here. I'm like, look, I needed to take time to eat. And I eat slow, not on purpose, but that's just how I eat.
That's
And
training
so
for the next year.
I
Gotta
started eating
speed eat.
faster and getting more in. Take all
That,
these big sub sandwiches and eat along the way. So I'm
yeah,
constantly getting these calories in. So I didn't have enough. I was well hydrated. That was a one thing
you got that done.
but calories and sleep, that was a
That's,
downfall.
I think that's why I like it. That's why I like that this particular distance I'm finding is it's a puzzle. So if you like puzzles, if you like
Oh
challenges, like
yeah. Yeah.
it's not for most people. For the realm of people, they're just amazing. They're fast and they can take a beating and they're just there's that's a different animal. But I think
Right.
there's another group. It's a puzzle, and you have to master yourself or know yourself, which is good, which works outside of the sport,
Right.
right? But how much sleep do you need? How much do you eat? Do you get cold when you sleep? Um, do you work well with people? Like, can you have people around you when you're stressed and tired? And I sometimes I talk halfway joking to athletes. It's like, how are you when you're drunk? Are you a mean drunk? Like, I've had
That's true. That's a great
guy friends,
statement.
like, or even girlfriends, where if say had a friend who was a girl and her boyfriend she was starting to see when he got drunk, he was extremely aggressive or loud. That could be a tell. So I
Yeah.
use that for running. Like, if you tend to get super irritable and you lash out to your crew, all right, you can't get tired. Like, you
Right.
can't get tired. You need to sleep early and often before you become a problem. And before you start making bad decisions or pissing off your crew, or you have to know that's part of you and accept it. But just like if it can't go out on trails at night and you have to have pacers, then you need pacers. But just like learn yourself, and then the puzzle is applying some system or solution or to try to accommodate. Meanwhile, all the while trying to be super flexible and super, like, one thing I had written down recently was like giving yourself grace. And I really didn't understand what that meant before. But allowing yourself You can have little setbacks, and you can doubt yourself, and you can do things, and you still need to acknowledge it. But even during the event, like that's why when people you have people, I'm sure you have people too, is like visualize going through these efforts, but also know that in that visualization, something's going to go wrong. 1,000 things are going to go off your plan, and the skill or the being able to pivot or to adjust or to accept those little changes without it locking you up is something you need to practice, or something like if you're more apt to make bad decisions when you're hungry, guess what? You need to work on fueling, and sleep are going to be your primary things to work on. And then movement is a function of, is a product of that idea. I think a lot of runners are worried about pace, but they're getting underfed, they're getting super sleepy, they're becoming super inefficient because that's what they see people do. And that's why I try to, this is my last couple of years, like trying to, even in myself, I'm talking to myself when I say this, redirecting what's your goal, what's your path, what's your like journey through this, knowing your weaknesses, your strengths, how much time, just like for coaching, one of the questions I ask people, like, how much time do you have? Like, if you only have 5 hours a week to train and you want to train for a 250, maybe that's either not the race for you, or like there has to be like some, if you don't know how much time you have or how much time you need, that's the first step, right? But to go back to the question, like knowing who you are, I think the doing the 250 and what transpires from these longer races is part of it's that classic, it's the journey. You should start to understand who you are, and then you have to field test that. Like you have to be in the fire and be able to cope with yourself during the event. And then when you get done with it, like, oh, I did it. Like that's when I've appreciated some of the efforts I've done, and other people, when they knew it was going to be hard, they made the adjustments. They're in their race and they hit those trouble spots, but they knew how to pivot because they prepared for it, and they knocked them out of their goal time or what they envisioned, but they got back on track and they crossed the finish line. That's what I love. I tend not to like, for most of my runners, because every runner that gets done with a race, they'll go, I could have done it faster. But I love to reflect like, but you did this well, you did this well. This can carry you to the next race. Because they're honing their skill, they're sharpening their tool set for these races. I think
Right.
that's more important. If like me, I want to do this until you can't. Like I want to be, that's what
Right.
I'm joking. I want to be like the oldest person doing Cocodona, or like that one lady
You
was
have
she
a
like,
ways to go,
I
Ron.
know. But wasn't she 79 when she crossed? Was she older doing Western States or something? She had like 2 minutes to go, or I think it was a few years back.
You're talking about Gun Hill, I believe.
Was it, how old was
Yeah.
she? Or,
Was she when she was 70, I don't think she finished. I think she might have been 69
oh, okay.
at the time
In
that
any
she
case,
did
it
that.
was like, I want to be that person. So
Me
it
too.
changes the way I train, because I'm not busting out the times I did. Like I didn't run when I was 20, but I could have run when I was 20. It's a different training modality. It's more strength based. It's more prevention. It's cross training versus always running. Because one of my bigger goals is to do this until I be many years from now. I think so.
That's my plan too. I start my first 100, I was 53, I think.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
So I started late in life, but I started my life lifting weights and being really strong in the gym. So I think that was a great base for where I am today. Because I got into bike riding and then, oh my God, let's run a marathon. Oh, that was so stupid. But and then getting into trail running. But I really believe that I had the physical strength throughout my body to keep me healthy. And then training with you guys, I really hit the gym hard again.
Oh, good.
I really, because I can get out of it and be back into it. I was real serious when I was younger, but now it's like, and so I was hitting it. I hit it at least 3 times, at least minimum of 3 times a week.
Oh, wow. That's
and
great.
break up the body parts. My legs were great. My legs were strong. I was doing that 20-pound weight vest
Mm,
and climbing Eldon and just feeling, but my legs weren't even sore, but it was my back. And I don't know what happened to my back. I don't, but I'm wondering if it was that. But then that's also the key next year. I need to do more stretching and be more methodical. I'm going to do I'm intrigued with your solo. So I'm going to I've done Route 66 twice now as a crude runner. This year I'm going to do it as a journey runner, which will be a solo runner.
oh,
And
you ever done a miler by yourself?
I can do Javelina by myself.
Okay.
You can do Javelina. I haven't necessarily done, I've only one time at Stagecoach, I didn't have a pacer at night. I didn't have a pacer from Boundary, not even up to Boundary. So I pick up a pacer at Boundary, and I didn't have a pacer for the whole night. And I was really okay. It
Mhm.
was really fun.
That's a good one.
Um,
Not that's a good one to test if somebody wants to
yeah,
do a 100 miler solo because you're gonna be out there in the woods by yourself for
I was, and there was some
long
eyes over
stretches.
there at that next aid station. I don't remember the one after Boundary, that next one. When I came out of that, there were some eyes over there.
Oh,
And I decided it was an elk and it was friendly, and I didn't get scared, but I'm sure it wasn't an elk, but I don't know what it was. But I'm still here. But it was really, I love the northern Arizona in the September time because the elk are out there and the animals
yeah.
are singing in the night, and it's just spectacular. So I really had a fun time by myself. And Javelina, I can do it. But then can I do it? Yes. Could I do Cocodona by myself? If I put my mind to it, I could.
And
I
if you
think
want to, is something like does it draw you to like, oh, that's a challenge. I really want to do that.
I don't know yet because I like people.
See, that's why I usually don't tell people I do it solo because of that. Like I don't want to like not influence them. Like it's almost like not by my choice. A lot of it's just not by my choice. I just don't have that many running friends to be able to jump out and like let's go for 5 days. And,
And
and
like I said, people actually this year, last year I had three people pull out as crew, and I text this one friend of mine, and I'm like, let's just try it. And he texts me back with a full capital yes. I'm like, cool. I only had three people. But I think crew can be key, but I think they can also be hindrance too.
yeah,
And my husband's an ultra runner, my brother's an ultra runner, so they know what, but then 250 is different than 100. I will always lay that down. And it's I don't know if I have that. But at the Route 66 I will. That's on road, but it's still going to be, and there's not a lot of people. You have the relay team, they're in and out, and you have the crude runners, and but who knows how much I'm going to be alone.
mhm.
And that's actually sometimes it's fun to be out there, and that's a beautiful run. You run from Seligman to Topak, and there's only one bad section. It's when you get into Kingman and you go through the airport. That's it. But other than that, it's just a really spectacular run. It's a spectacular event. But I was curious if I can do this alone, and so we'll see. It'll
It's
be
funny
I
when I run these races and I've never walked that distance or whatever. Another comment I always get is like, oh, so you're out there by yourself. Like even if you have crew, like you're out there by yourself for hours at a time in between
right.
eight. And I've learned that a lot of people, I'm interpreting what they're saying is, I'm not comfortable being by yourself. Sorry, this is what they say. They go, what do you think about? So
Right.
I translate that I don't think you're comfortable being by yourself for long periods of time. I think there's a subset of people that need that chatter. They need somebody talking to them all the time. And again, I'm halfway being judgy, but they need that constant interaction with people. And then when you just tell them, oh, I might be in the woods for 5 hours at a time, usually it's the non-runner, non-trail runner crowd. They're taken back because they're like, oh my God, like, what do you do? Like, what do you think about? And I think it's almost like I brought them anxiety by them thinking about them being by themselves for longer periods of time, which is interesting. So it goes back to if you don't like doing that, then it could not be the sport for you. Or if you still want to do it, then you need to have a good friend base. You need to have runners to go with you, you need pacers. You could still make it a really good thing. But I always thought about that. It always comes up with what do you think about?
I've heard that before. It made me think. I like the conversations. Sometimes when Paul comes out and paces me, I haven't seen him for 6 months or whatever. We catch up, so we have a lot of catch up to do. So that's fun. And it isn't, I don't feel for me, it's avoiding myself. Not at all. I'm pretty well grounded and comfortable with myself, but I think it's more just having, maybe it's too, letting them be my nighttime eyes and so that I don't have to do anything.
Oh, no, this is a huge event. Have you ever overshared during, like you met strangers on a race and you're running through the night and you're just chatting with them? Because I love chatting with people. I always said I say like doing a solo, but when I run with people during events, I just chat.
That's what the fun part
It's
is.
awesome. Have you ever
Yeah.
overshared too much? Have you ever like home like 2 days later going,
Actually, I
maybe
find
I
other
shouldn't have said
people
that?
overshare.
Oh,
I'm a good listener, and I don't know whatever I ask, but I've had other people overshare.
okay.
But there's a rule on the race, on the run. What's said on the run stays on the
Totally.
run.
I've come back home sometimes like, maybe I shouldn't have shared that. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Don't get back to me.
It's always fine.
But
Oh my gosh.
I do enjoy chatting with people. When I was doing Javelina, I was chatting with a girl and we ran like 10 miles and we both like, it went by so fast. It was so much fun. It's an art. It's a tool you can use. I've used where then you go to another person, chat.
That's a
Yeah, so
pure example of getting out of our own head, right? Because you're not in your own head. You're not focusing on this hurts, that hurts. I've had that. Someone comes along and all of a sudden nothing hurts and you're running just as fast or faster and it feels really good and you're in this other element and that was so much fun. But
I've had times where I'm chatting and this person's really quiet and they're going faster, but I'm still chatting. And they're like, oh, I think I need to
maybe,
pull back a little bit.
maybe they want to drop you. I
I've learned,
don't.
I've learned my cues.
I don't just talk to talk. I like to learn about people and share our stories and that's
I've
the fun
lunch
part.
during races, just about running. What do you do? What do you eat?
What's your next race?
Good question. So I'm still getting my foot, the injury I had is still, I'm still taking care of it, we'll say.
What's
Um,
happened to your foot? What's going on?
it's part of like the metatarsal of my left foot,
Hmm.
something. It's funny, I tell runners like become your own detective and doctor. Like
Right,
use physicians and use physical therapists, use massage therapists as tools to help. Like you need to be a master at it yourself. Again, back to
right,
that thing. There's times to bring in specialty people,
right.
but I like to understand what's going on. So at the very least, when I go to somebody that specializes in a field, like I have this, I'm not just fix me. I'm like, I
Right.
think it's this. These are the symptoms. I've tried this, and they can help me solve this puzzle. But it's in the metatarsal. I've had capsulitis in one before. I think it's slightly nerve related, so it could be lower back things, even though I don't have any lower back problems. But it really stems from my shoes were too tight. I've fought this problem for years. So just that squeezing of that metatarsal together with load and different things. And my calves are super tight and my shoes are too tight. Horrible combination um, or great combination for developing some metatarsal issue. So I'm fixing the causes, but that could be a whole other podcast is like dealing with injuries, what mentally you go through, the depression to like, you go through so many levels of not grief, but acceptance and all this stuff, or maybe not acceptance for a while. And then try to keep motivated with other modalities or other training. Um, but slowly it's getting better and better, but I'm figuring it out. But the next race would be that I'm signed up for is Sedona 125 because I got into that one
Oh, okay.
for next year. Um, But I would love to do like there's a floor. I live out in Florida now. There's a Florida 200 in November. That seems fun. Again, I have a friend who might do it, uh, and it just instantly like, oh, that sounds fun. And I know that voice when that voice starts talking to me like that sounds fun. I'm like, oh, okay, shh, calm down. Well, let's talk later on after your foot's back. Um, or I want to go like I want to go back to a marathon. I haven't done a road marathon in 20 years, 20 plus years.
Wow.
Kind
It's
of fun.
okay.
Yeah. It's good. It's a good ramp up for Sedona. So if you want to get some speed back, again, I'm looking for, I call them carrots. I need a carrot. I need to see something to drive towards. The 125 in next May it's too long. It's too long away. So I need something to keep me sharp and focused.
I I'm intrigued with to see how much I can do, how long I can go. I'm going to I how do I want to word this? I have full intentions to train super well, super hard to do the jackpot USATF 100 and set my age group record.
That's like a marathon. It's a fast race. That's funny.
I was there last year and worked it, and I watched Ashley. Oh my gosh, she was so beautiful. Set the world record, set the course record, set the age group record. She set every record there is to set. She was so beautiful, just like Rachel. It was just they're so fun to watch. But it's amazing people doing amazing stuff. Now, we may not be super fast. I'm not super fast, but we still can pull it off and we still have the heart to do it. And we have the mental fortitude to be curious about what next and plunge forth on that. So,
And I encourage people to fail in a weird way. Like you don't have to be 100% ready for every race. I think this is totally me. It's a different method, or this is the way I think. You're, it's almost like I rarely see people who are like, I'm 100% ready for this race. Yes, that's happening all the time. And even more than that, sometimes you need to jump into things just to challenge yourself mentally, physically, learn. Some people, it's okay to jump into something knowing you can always stop. You can stop the race. You don't have to finish it. You don't have to kill yourself. As long as that's not going to demotivate you. It's not going to kill your ego. But you have 1,000 takeaways from that event because especially the Cocodona races or 100-mile races, you don't know until you go long. For long durations of time, you could do training runs that are 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours back to back days. But if you've never gone beyond 12 or 15 or 20 hours, there's things you haven't found out about your body yet.
right.
So if you have this mini goals and maybe there's one goal up there that's 100 mile for some people, 100 miler in 2 years, definitely work up to that. But sometimes it's okay to jump into a 50 miler just to experience, and you can execute it slow and work on fueling. You don't have to race. Like just find out a little bit more and stretch a little bit and see what happens.
Right.
But so many people are like, no, I can't because I'll fail. Like failing's okay. Like it's okay to fail.
That's where we grow, right? And when we do those DNFs, it's where's our head at? And if we don't do what I get sad at is watching people, well, I wasn't going to make my time, so I gave up.
Yeah. But
That's so self-defeating, but it's, we are going to fail. And how do you manage those failings? And if you go into them with curiosity of how can I do it better next time? And that's where I was sad. I was super sad at Dead Horse. And I didn't want to stop, but I also knew I couldn't even walk. I was getting slower and slower, and I was really wasting my time. And I had not done that section to Deer Pass. And Paul was giving me ultimatums. If you can, where we were at, can you dance to the aid station? We'll go. Well, I couldn't dance to the aid station. It wasn't that far. It's like across the street or something. But I was
that's
so
funny.
crooked. It was ridiculous. So they were trying to make them a point, but I was sad. I was super sad and crying, but it's still it gives me that next inspiration of what am I going to learn here? What can I learn here? I learned so much from you guys, but there's more to learn. And it's being out there doing it. And you never know. We can sit with our coaches, we can sit with anybody to tell us their experience and everything, but you never really know until you do it yourself. And do you give up or do you challenge yourself a little bit deeper? And the lows are lows, and we don't be afraid of those lows because they happen. That's where you learn, are you able to come out of that low? Because everybody does. Everything is temporary. That's what I always tell all my people is it's temporary. That high is temporary and that low is temporary. So just embrace it and have a good time.
Pushing that back to that thing, like you might have, say if your back tends to fail at a certain duration or a certain load over
Yeah.
time, you're not going to know. It could not be that. It could be just a fluke that you hurt yourself at that rope thing. But if it was, but say if your back started failing over too much load, you're not going to find that out
Until you do it, right?
You do it. And now it could be like, oh, that could be it. Okay, let me make that, let me buttress that area as much as the girdle around your core,
Right.
really keep that super, have 11 months to get super tight and functional and more load bearing. So now I can do that for 300 miles, but the race is only 250. That's all you need. But you won't find out that until you, and I have seen that time after time. People really fit, really, they train well, they do smaller races, they function really well. And then when they strive for these longer events, something that was out of the blue comes up. And it's not tragic, but you won't see it until you
do it.
Dip your toe in, like take a risk and go, oh shoot, my calves really fail or my mind fail. Okay, let's do it again. You have time. Oh, and going back to people who drop out of races. So Ian and Emily, the head coaches of
Torrance.
Ian got on my radar because he was doing the AC 100.
Okay.
And he's super amazing fast runner. He had stomach issues, but he finished the race. And he finished, like, for most people, it'd be an awesome time. Like, I have no idea, 26 hours, 28 hours. For him, way slower than you normally, but he literally gutted it out and finished. I'm like, I like that guy. Who is he? And that's how he popped up my radar. Like, he's a fast elite runner, but he didn't have the ego of like, I guess I'm interpreting. Like he didn't go, oh, I'm out because it'll look embarrassing or whatever it was. He's like, I'm gonna gut it out and finish this thing. Like, that's awesome. I like this guy. So
I love them. And Stagecoach one year, that's the first time I experienced the lean. And Ian's like, you can still finish it. He was still going to leave it open for me to finish, even if I crawled in.
I did the bike ride 2 years ago because I had that toe problem before, and I was dead last an hour outside the cutoff.
Oh, good for you.
And they still let me finish. Okay. My only excuse was I had been like on a mountain bike and proper mountain, like a mountain bike on a mountain. The only time I've ever done that was the day before the race.
Holy cow.
And going up that climb of the first part of Stagecoach.
Right.
It was me pushing the bike.
Holy moly.
I just pushed the bike and until I think a runner started passing me. I'm like, oh, this is embarrassing. Which is good. Like ego, you need to be able to check your ego. And that was a check your ego.
Check your ego at the door before you enter a race.
That's fun. That was a fun adventure.
I bet it was. My gosh, Ron, this has been fun. I asked my guests to give some token of inspiration to our listeners.
Oh, a token of inspiration. Wow. That's a hard one. I'm not sure about inspiration. I like takeaways or tools.
Okay.
So if like know your goal, know your why. Like if you want to do something that's hard, like in this case, like trail running or ultra running. It's one of those things where I think to be successful, successful is defined however you want to define it, is consistency and volume, right? I think consistency will breed volume, and volume could be time, it could be miles, it could be whatever. I use time, so you can do like 30% biking and 70% running, and there's strength training in there. But consistency breeds volume. Those two things will make a successful journey or a race. So with that consistency, the takeaway, because especially if people are busy, they have lives and family and stuff, like take the little wins. Like I used to have the mindset of, okay, I have a 90-minute run today, but my daughter is late from school. I only have a 30 minutes and I'm rushing. I'm just not going to do it. It's like, no, just take, you can do a half, like a thing is 1,000 times better than zero. Like
Right, that's
30-minute
true.
run is exponentially better than zero.
Doing nothing.
Or doing 2 strength exercises a day. The little wins add up. So in that consistency will eventually layer and layer on each other, and you'll get more consistent, you will get more volume, and over time, you'll do better and better. And that starts to reinforce itself, where if you have these big chunks of goals and you start missing them, you're inconsistent. For me, it just chops up your brain. It just really kills your mood and your flow. And you have these big goals and you start getting depressed, so you start doing less of them, or you start doing bad habits that will make these less apt to be consistent. So little things. It could be, I'm going to do, like my new thing here is for my athletes is to buy like a yoga ball and doing hip hikes against a wall, right? To get that glute medius going. That's a 5 minute, that's a wake up in the morning. You could be brushing your teeth literally and
You could.
right? Or you see a stair and you can do some eccentric calf heel drops, or you can start layering in strength, start layering in aerobic development. It doesn't have to be these huge 3-hour runs, even though your race might need those bigger efforts. But those bigger efforts will only come when you start building your foundation and they're layered little efforts, little wins. I've seen it like you're like, I'm only doing this little things, and they start adding up, and then those little things become relatively bigger. Like to you, it's like it's still an hour run. It was a half hour. Now it's an hour run that's easy. Now these 2-hour runs are easy, and you're just knocking them out, and they're layering and layering and layering. And that's when I see people finish a 100-miler for the first time, and they're like, oh, how did I do that? And it was just those little dripping little things every day in there. And then give yourself some grace of like, oh, I failed, or I'm tired, or my kid was sick. That's okay. Take it off. It's okay. Like it'll come back. I've seen so many people, they want to hit it hard one day, and when they don't hit it hard the next day, they fail, which makes them fail the next day. And then they try to hit it. And those big things.
That's end up being that mental anguish where we start beating ourselves up and and then it's just that spiral downhill.
Oh,
Because
and
we
I've been
get
there.
that
I've taught
voice going
myself.
on.
I've been there too many a time. And even
Which
this
is,
injury, I can feel it. I can feel that little spiral wanting to come back. At least I've been here before with little things. I can do non-running things.
there you go.
Just know that you will be running someday. You'll get there. But if you start layering on stuff now, it'll be so much easier, and you will get better. That's what I tell people. You will get better. You don't want to get there and you're 20 pounds overweight. You're way
Right.
out of shape.
Right.
No consistency. It's hard. It's definitely hard. It's hard to keep focused, but that's my only inspiration is little things add up, and little things are digestible. And if you can start doing those, they will grow, momentum will build.
That's a really great point. That's really good
Awesome.
advice. Thank you, Ron.
Of course. I gotta make sure I understand it and do it.
Well, thank you so much for joining me on my podcast and being an amazing guest.
Oh, thank you for having me. This is fun.